All right, we are back. It is Monday evening. It is the 9th day of November here in 2020, and this is weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks for your patience last week. Didn't do a lot of Weather Geeks videos last week because I was working on the winter forecast. I was doing the winter forecast, and then by Friday, we had nothing but sunshine in the forecast for the next few days, so we didn't have a lot of super geeky stuff to get into. So we're back this week, though, and we've got plenty to talk about this week, including record warmth and some rain and some changes and some interesting things in the longer range as well. I want to start out this evening with a comparison shot from the MODIS high-resolution, low-orbiting satellites across the region. We always like looking at these on these crystal clear, severe clear days. A few months ago on August 20th, of course, we're still in the heart of summer in the middle of August, and everything looks green and lush from above, with hardly a cloud in the sky that day, back in the summer. And then you fast forward to today, it was just as cloud-free. But Lake Erie has a little more sediment in the mix, isn't quite as blue looking, and of course the landscape has changed plenty. We're well past peak on the foliage now. We still have some foliage trying to hang on, but of course our peak was a few weeks ago, and everything is looking quite a bit more brown, but still, wow, what a stunner of a day today. We hit 76 this afternoon here locally, 76 also the number in Cleveland, in Akron, and in New Philly, 75 in Pittsburgh, and of course this was a record high today, 76 at the airport at 2:16 this afternoon. The previous record was 72, set in 1999, and then also back in 1975. I looked back at the last dozen years, tallying up the record highs and record lows, and record highs, no surprise, are outpacing record lows, 56 to 34. Specifically here in 2020, today was our fourth daily record high of the year. We'll make it 5 tomorrow. We've had 3 record lows so far in 2020. All right, despite the really warm weather of late, you may have noticed how quickly it's been cooling off in the evenings and how chilly it is if you're an early morning riser. Of course, we're into November now. The nights are long at this time of the year, and with a crystal clear sky overhead and dry air overhead and the wind being relatively light, perfect radiational cooling conditions. So how does this work? Well, of course, during the day, solar radiation heats the ground. The ground then heats the air immediately above the ground. But after the sun sets, that heat tries to escape back out into space. So when we have some clouds overhead, then that process is inhibited somewhat, and those clouds can act kind of as a blanket and kind of re-emit some of that heat back to the surface. So, in other words, it doesn't get as cold on a cloudy night usually as compared to a completely clear night. On a completely clear night, that heat escapes back out to space very efficiently, very quickly. And, just for an example, where I live, yesterday, I had a low of 32 first thing in the morning. It got to 77. That's a 45-degree diurnal temperature range. That's a huge range for one calendar day. But you can get that in this sort of a pattern, especially at this time of the year. And also, by March, early April, the nights are still long enough at that point, and you can get some pretty warm days. You can get diurnal ranges like that again very late in the winter and more so into early spring. Some changes are on the way, though. We have a big beefy cold front off to our west. It's 35 degrees colder in Omaha than 24 hours ago, 31 degrees colder in the Twin Cities. Here locally, it's actually 5 degrees warmer as of this recording compared to the 6 o'clock hour on Sunday. So we're in the mid-60s here locally, but that's a sharp front off to our west. We're not going to see as big of a temperature plunge around here as they are experiencing with this front out to our west. But still, of course, the party's about to end as far as these absurd high temperatures go. Rain showers are lining up along that front. Quick word about the tropics. We're still dealing with Tropical Storm Eta, or the kind of the outer bands of it in Florida, with some gusty breezes and occasional showery weather. This is going to kind of meander around the Gulf of Mexico for the next several days. It's not going to be a huge, big ticket kind of a thing, but it's going to kind of be in Florida's hair for a little while. All right, so tomorrow is going to be just like the last couple of days. Nary a cloud in the sky until maybe second half of the afternoon. We start to see a few clouds working in, and then the clouds will fairly quickly thicken up later in the evening, leading to a pretty good chance for rain overnight into Wednesday morning. But I think from west to east, the rain showers will shut down by about lunchtime on Wednesday, leading to some afternoon sun, but temperatures will actually fall. Probably see our warmest temperatures late morning on Wednesday with falling afternoon readings. And then actually it's going to be pretty nice outside. Thursday and Friday, it's not going to be in the 70s anymore, but as high pressure builds across, it'll still be warmer than average by a handful of degrees with highs in the mid-50s. With our rain Tuesday night, early Wednesday, we're looking at pretty modest amounts. European models, the purple line, it's kind of an outlier at this point. Other modeling is showing a quarter to maybe a half an inch, but probably a quarter to a third of an inch worth of rain Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. So I mentioned the end of the week will be more seasonable, but again, still a handful of degrees warmer than average, so I've got a double nickel in the forecast for both Thursday and Friday. A little bit cooler, more seasonable as the weekend begins. That's probably the better day of the upcoming weekend because showers will become a possibility Sunday, and maybe some showers will linger into the day on Monday. 8 to 14 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. No surprise here, especially east of the Rockies. Looks like a pretty balmy pattern. No, that doesn't mean it's going to be in the 70s like it has been. By the end of this 8 to 14 day outlook, our average highs are around 47. So, a mild day 2 weeks from now is 50 degrees. So you have to keep things in perspective. We're getting into, of course, the cold time of the year. So a map like this does not necessarily spell Indian summer continuing in the longer range. This map may look familiar to you. It kind of sort of looks like our winter forecast for the eastern two-thirds of the country. Winter may be showing its hand already. Already La Nina is probably exerting its influence on the pattern. We've got some things going on in the Pacific that are favorable for warmth. Up over the Arctic, there's no blocking up over the Arctic, and so things are looking very favorable for a lack of any snap to sustained cold weather in the run-up to Thanksgiving this year. Don't forget, you can watch the winter forecast that I did last Thursday, wfmj.com/weather. Over on the right side of the screen, both the long version and the short version are still up on wfmj.com/weather. Thank you for watching Weather for Weather Geeks on this Monday night. Have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you back here on Tuesday.